I think it's quite a big avenue for us in the sense of in making sure that we can close performance gaps between our national team and our domestic provincial players. So this league is earmarked at 48 identified players around the country, which also adds on our national team players that are contracted, that are playing under the supervision of the provincial coaches. But we have selectors as well as the national coaching management team that are actually having a closer eye on these players to see they're competing for places. Because, for example, we have 8 opening batters in this week which are competing for places in the national team. So we're envisaging that this thing will actually assist us in closing the performance gaps and will actually assist as well in identifying players for the setup.
I think it's a massive step forward. I think that this first step is going to take us far into the future because we've got the players that are earmarked in our region, in South Africa, all across South Africa actually, and just taking those youngsters from high school into varsity, into your early 20s, and just showcasing what South Africa has in our country. So I think it's going to be a really good next 3 days for us.
We're really excited. I think it's a wonderful initiative. I think we've seen globally around the world at like this events in Australia and in the UK, and to finally have something of our own in South Africa, I think it's really special. It's amazing that the younger girls are going to get exposed to the quality of cricket at this level. So we are really excited. We weren't really sure what to expect because it's first of its kind, but I think it's a wonderful platform to see young talent come through.
Yeah, I think it's a great initiative. I think some other countries have their own leagues, and I think for Cricket South Africa to start this women's league, I think it's a great step towards our future and just to grow the pipeline that we have.
With the T20 World Cup coming up and obviously the Indian series, the fact that we can actually come here for the first time to meet up, it's strength versus strength because it's different teams, so you're no longer playing in your provincial setup. So for me, it's a big thing for the youngsters. Like I see, like all the teams have high school kids, so under 19 setup, so they get to learn more from the provincial women's players and the Proteas. So I feel like the platform and what they're doing from CSA is brilliant, actually.
I went about preparing for the next 3 days of this T20 Super League. I got the list of players, and then what I did was there's a program called Pitch Vision, which we now use during our provincial matches. So the girls that I didn't really know, I just went and I watched a couple of videos and see where they bat, where they bowl, how they bat, how they bowl, and just kind of sum up what type of players they are and things like that. So where they would be in the lineup during these next 3 days. So that's how I went about preparing for this. And then today at the net session, I just took that preparation into the net session just to see my top 4, the top 6, and then the bowlers who would bowl in specific periods of the game as well. So that's how I went about that.
Well, we're really excited. We got our first training session with the team today. There's quite a few new faces. We've been mixing and matching a little bit, so it was quite nice to get to know new players from provinces we usually only play against or not play with. And I think it's an exciting time. As a team, we've had a bit of a discussion and we just want to go out there and play a positive brand, good intent cricket. And I think the most important factor about it is we're going to need to enjoy it. But I think it's going to be a very competitive weekend. The teams are really strong. We get to go tomorrow afternoon for our first game. And I think it's going to be a glamorous weekend. And hopefully we'll see lots of sixes, lots of high scoring games. And hopefully the bowlers can also get a few of those wickets.
Just seeing the growth and actually people playing positive cricket. So for me, it's not about winning. It's about the growth of women's cricket in the country. And that's my biggest thing.
We had our first training session this afternoon. There's some people that I only met today, and we already have to take the field tomorrow together. But, cricketers are the same people, I think. So tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can take a win home and just win the whole tournament.
I think one of the biggest issues is that we participate globally. So you're always looking at your other counterparts around the world to see where the performance gaps are. So what we tried to do initially 3 years ago, we introduced a program where we needed to identify certain skill sets that you find that are lacking between ourselves and when we compare to the identified players or identified teams around the world like England, Australia, which are quite big in women's cricket. And then when we started with that blueprint, we can see the development of our identified players. And this we said, now hang on, now we need to take it another level where we can bring them in a competitive environment to see whether the skills blueprint, how does it link up as well with on-field performance. And we're quite anticipating good performances this week, which we're hoping that will lead into ensuring that the right identified players actually end up playing for the women's Proteas.